So let's do some fine scale structure. And one of the great things, there's Stamp and Stencil are two great tools. So the Stamp, I'm going to just use Stencil for now. Notice that we can also have fall off on all these tools, and we might use some of that. I think this is the default fall off. This looks like a normal fall off, but we can have kind of scoop or the opposite, or totally square, which I don't know what that would look like. But let's look at stencils. So there are a bunch, but we can also get some of that's interesting. We can also get some of our own, and I'll show you both of those. So let's find. I guess this guy should have some kind of scaly like hide on some parts of him. And so if I hold on S and okay, let's look at some move stencil S middle button. Yeah, scale stencil S right button. That's what I want to do. So let's just say maybe we'll make a kind of pattern on his chest here, and maybe I'll use spray with a fairly large brush and a fairly weak one. And and let's look at the fall off. Something like this and see. So now if I hit Q, that stencil goes away. If I hit Q again, it comes back. So you can see that fall off, I think, gave us a kind of fainter edges. And this is highly, detailed. Oh, you know what? Let's do something else first. So here's my stencil again. I'll right mouse button to scale it up. I'm going to turn off this mirror, because about this point maybe is where I want to not have a mirror happening. So off with the mirror. There we go. And I'll scale this again. Nope. S right button. Okay. Something's not. Q is also not. There we go. I don't know. Will this do it? There we go. Scale it down. And I can move it. And then here's rotate stencil. Okay, I'm going to save this. I'm going to iteratively save this. Incrementally save. Because so here's Q. Here's my stencil. Rotate the stencil. R and left button. I'm pressing R, and I get edit this stencil. Display, and when I try to use the left button, I get width and height, and say OK, and then I crash. So I'm putting a bounty on this. I'll give a innovation point and an engagement point to anyone who can tell me, the first person who tells me how to rotate the stencil. Some of the tutorials say where's my diver here? Cancel. I want to open. Diver 05. I think this is right. Is it? So I'm going to put a bounty on rotating the stencil. It'd be nice if there was an open recent. I don't see one. So I'm just going to... let's look at the by date modified. So this is the most recently modified. Maybe I lost some changes. I don't know. It doesn't... I'm not sure. Yeah, okay. I see I scraped down some of this. Okay. So let's try it one more time. I'm not going to try to rotate the thing, okay? That doesn't work. But here I liked this stencil, I believe it was. Yep. And I can S move it and S scale it. And I'm going to use a spray and a fairly light spray. I'll bring this down just a little bit. And I turned off the mirror. That's what I wanted to do. And let's just look at the fall off here. I want this fall off. So Q hides that. So I get this very, fine grain detail. I'm going to hit Shift D. And you can see it pops into better resolution. So I'm now at level 4, which is not, I don't think, 1,000,000 polygons, and I don't think I need 1,000,000 for this job. And if I go up and down the scale, this is the lowest resolution, the highest. And that seems like enough for me for now, and probably that's all I need. So if that's kind of the way his skin is here, there may be other patches where that is the case. I'll turn mirroring back on. Go up to the highest level. Where's my mirroring? Where did mirroring go? I'm going to search for it. I have to choose a tool, and then I have the mirror bit. I'm going to turn off. This display wireframe because it's getting so dense it's hard to even see anymore. But I will also turn the stencil back on that I liked. It'd be nice to rotate it now. See what I'm saying? Rotate it clockwise a bit. But I don't know how to do it, and I'm not going to try. Let's look at the fall off, make sure it's the way I wanted it to be. I think I need to make sure that every time. I think I was using spray, if I'm not mistaken. The brush size here for spray. Okay, I'm getting, okay, there's the brush size. And I didn't turn on mirror, so I'll just undo this. There we go. And maybe actually I don't have to here, but I'm gonna mirror this side. So it should be on the other side, yeah. But maybe I don't want that everywhere. So let's put some on his neck, and we won't mirror. So that fall off turns out to be, kind of important if I want it to be deep in the center and fade out towards the edges. So we got a little bit on this side of the neck and a little bit more on this side of the neck, and it's not mirrored here. It is mirrored on the shoulders, but I don't think people will notice that so much, right? So let's look at another stencil. And we'll just put, so that I'm using spray. I might try foamy here. And Q hides that thing. So that's too much. But I had foamy. I can pull it way down. Hit Q, get my stencil back. Bring this brush size down. There we go. Let's make sure my fall off is the way I want it to be. If I go to the edge of a stencil, I get a hard line. You see that? So I want to avoid that. But I'll get the stencil back. Okay. There we go. And we can scale it up. S, right button. And I can I have mirroring turned off. So I'm just kind of getting folds in his skin. I can overlay some of this so that the folds also appear. I can see it happening. Yep, in this alligator skin. I make the brush a little bit bigger, and I might make the strength just a little bit on the shoulders, and just to get a little bit more of this effect on the shoulders. So I raised the foamy intensity, or the strength. I'll pull it back down again. Foamy is pretty strong. We'll get the back here. I don't necessarily have to have every bit of skin with this kind of fold stuff going on. But in fact, I'll use something else on the head. Just getting it lightly on the sides of his goggles here. Let's look at his face. We'll put some kind of stroke along these cheeks here, whatever those anatomically would be called on this alien. Okay, so now I want to try something that I kind of need to review how to do this. So I'm going to put you on pause for a sec. Okay, so I found an image I like. I'm going to use as a stencil. And I right-click on it and say Copy Image. So I haven't saved it to my desktop or anyplace else. I've just saved it to my clipboard, so I can paste it into Photoshop or something. But I can also paste it into the stencil in Mudbox. So I come up here to Create, Stencil, and I can choose height and width. I can choose to tile. But I can also use image from clipboard and say OK, and there it is. So now I can move this around here. I was going to do the head, so let's do the head with this, and S right click to scale this and move it around. And let's just check our fall off. Okay, I like that fall off, and let's try, we've been using foamy, I'm going to try spray. I'm going to have a big brush, and just spray this on. Oh, maybe I need... I'm not sure if I'm seeing any effect. Okay, Q should be turning this off and on. Huh, okay, I think I still have some other stencil here. I didn't know I could do that. Okay, so I'm going to just say cancel to this. Okay. Something has gone wrong with my model too. Let's just undo a few steps. Okay, I'm going to save this. Something, I don't think that's my model. I think it's, I think it's rendering poorly somehow. Yeah, so that was just not rendering properly. So let's try this again. I think I can do this without having to restart here. I've chosen a fall off. I want to get stencil. I'll turn it off. There we go. And then let's try creating a new stencil from clipboard. I'll move this around. Nope. I'll move it. I can scale it. I'm spraying. I'll say done. There we go. There we go. I'm going to undo those steps and bring my strength way down on the spray. There we go. So I really like this. It's fun to me to just say I'm not saving the image to my desktop. I'm just gonna kind of create it in Mudbox from my clipboard. I've got little creases here. I'm going to I'm going to use I'm going to try something weird I haven't done before with amplify and hit Q. There's my stencil. So it's amplifying through the stencil. I don't really know what that means, but I'll go back to, I'll try wax with the smallest kind of possible. That seems like too much. I'll go back to spray. Oh man, that was not spray. Here's spray. Make sure my strength is low. There we go. So I've got several different textures on this, and I just want to turn this off for a second. And I just want to point out, I really feel like I need more detail around the eyes, so I can kind of go back to that. But I just want to point out that that's spray without a stencil. And there it is with the stencil. So I just want to point out that I've got very fine level of detail without having to carve it all, right? And I'm using stencils to do a lot of the work. And something else, you might want to make sure the randomize is checked on your stencil. Otherwise you get a repeating. Some of these stencils will repeat. I don't think it matters for the one I'm using, because I'm just using parts of it. I want to get one of these folds here, these kind of, so I get a kind of scarification there. And over here, maybe get one of these here. So that crease in the stencil gives me a kind of crease in the texture. So I do feel like I think I might make goggles for this guy. So they'll fit over these eyes. And so I'll make those details later in a separate modeling thing. Because I think this is all kind of blanked out. But I think this is pretty good. So the next step for me is painting this guy. And then later on, I'll make goggles for him. And I'll detail those separately. I think that's the way I'll work this. So that's the end of these tutorials. The next tutorial I'll give you will be a painting tutorial.